South Asian, I can relate.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabria, your Wayne County Treasurer. If you're living in the home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, the probate process can be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Week That Was. I'm Saeed Khan, broadcasting from a beautiful day in the Metro Detroit area. And as you see, we are with our OG cast of experts and friends here. No, it's not because Doge came through and cut everybody else out. We are a Doge-free zone. So joining us are our troika of veteran attorneys, Joel Sklar, Bill Seikaly, broadcasting from outdoors, al fresco, as well as Steve Fishman. We've got labor and community activist Barb Ingalls, veteran journalist Nancy Derringer, and of course, co-founder of Deadline Detroit, Allan Lengel. Well, given how the weather is, it makes you want to go ahead and go out and drink a slushie, an icy, or a Slurpee. I'll tell you, somebody's slush fund just got revoked, and that is none other than President Donald Trump. The $1.8 billion slush fund that he had earmarked, it looks like acting Attorney General, soon to be going up for scrutiny in the nomination process, Todd Blanche, checking in from, has gone ahead and said definitively that the fund is moribund, as Nancy would say. So, is this... I would? Okay. Well, do you want me to just say it was dead? I thought I would up the language here. Just for you.
Moribund is fine, but yes, thank you.
Okay.
I think you're wrong, Saeed. I see no evidence that it's dead. I mean, what Todd Blanche said was, we're not moving forward with it. What's going to happen with the money? Is the settlement document still in place? I mean, there are far more questions here on this issue than there are answers out there so far. And if anybody believes what Todd Blanche says when he says we're not going to follow through with something Todd that the Orange Man wants, they're not paying attention.
But do you think this was just really the smoke and mirrors, that what he really wanted was immunity from tax audit, and the $1.8 billion was the bargaining chip?
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, look at Trump likes money and he wants to pay off people. I mean, I think that a lot of this $1.8 billion, that actually it's $1.776 billion, is really all about funding the takeover of the next election and paying his people to come in and wreak havoc during the midterms.
So is this hey, Steve, go ahead.
I thought Bill was going in this direction as well. I think in his screwball mind, I think that the more of these things that happen with respect to these rioters, I mean, he lets them out, he pardons them. And I really believe in his twisted mind. He thinks that if you pay him money, then somehow the history books will say that it was really just a peaceful protest and it was Antifa or whoever else it was. And I kind of see it as part of that too, although I certainly agree with Bill that poisoning the elections is part of what he's thinking about. But I just get the feeling that this guy thinks he can rewrite history. You know, we'll all be laying in the ground. But if he can rewrite history to that extent with all the video and all the things that are obvious for people to look at, then we really got problems.
Yeah,
we have a video on January the 6th.
It's been a year since Donald Trump freed the January 6th rioters from prison. Hey, but give these guys some credit. A lot of these guys have been working really hard to get themselves back behind bars.
According to a new study, at least 97 January 6th rioters, or 1 in 16, have been arrested for or charged with new crimes since being pardoned by Donald Trump.
USA! 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 I know. It doesn't... All of you people put those January 6 guys in a box, didn't you? And they aren't just January 6ers. They can commit crimes any day, any month of the year.
Well, Chris Robinson from the Black Crowes actually chided the audience when they were yelling "USA, USA" at a recent concert. He says, "How dare you? What do you possibly have to cheer about regarding this particular administration?" Allan.
I think Todd Blanche, I mean, this latest deal with the anti-weaponization thing, is just another example. Him and Pam Bondi are the most compromised attorney generals. And we've had some compromise. I didn't trust Ed Meese, Alberto Gonzalez for Bush. But these guys.
Fredo. It's Fredo.
These guys are just so out of the ballpark. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. I'm really covering federal law enforcement for decades. Nothing comes close.
And you forgot Bob Barr there.
Yeah, Bob Barr.
Yeah.
And you forgot the proper plural of attorneys general, but that's okay.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Well, I was trying to tell you, Nancy.
I actually had to argue with him one day when we were still in the office. It's like, it's attorneys general, and he says, I don't like it. I like attorney generals better. So.
Right. That's what I said. I know it's correct, but I just don't like it. It's just talk like that. Attorneys general. Although, Bill McGraw, who was the partner in Deadline Detroit, in the beginning, we had, they have an AP style book for all the newspapers use. And I said, I hate the style book. I said, why bother? And he says, well, maybe we shouldn't care about spelling either.
Well, on the January 6th rioter situation,
you're applying for a job at CBS, Allan?
More on that in a sec, Bill, regarding CBS. But Elias Irizarry, who was 19 years old on January the 6th, 2021, who storms the Capitol, is then convicted, pardoned by the president, has now been appointed to the Pentagon's Special Ops and Low Intensity Conflict Office, which monitors for the possibility of terrorism plots. So, Fox, meet the hen house. You can go ahead and guard it. Steve, I mean, what do you read from this happening? I mean, bringing in not only somebody who was convicted and then pardoned, but somebody who still has spots. I mean, he's not exactly that old. What is that? 24 years old now, and heading what would be seen as a major security office within the Pentagon.
I think it's the same thing, and I'm betraying my schmuck of the week selection, but it's the same thing with putting Pulte in charge of the DNI. He doesn't care, and I don't think he cares if it affects them in the midterms. We can get into that later, but he doesn't care. He's never had to care. That's another issue we can talk about later also. But he's a person who's never had to care about anything that he ever did, and he's gotten away with murder his whole life. So he figures he can, I remember what Julie's saying is probably true too. So to piss off the liberals, that's probably part of it too. But there's no logical explanation. How would you put a 24-year-old in that position if he came from the best possible background ever? You would never do that, let alone a criminal. I mean, even if he had a pedigreed academic background, that he doesn't have any experience in the field, and you think that needs quite a bit of field experience. But speaking about
field, do you think that matters? Have you been paying any attention?
Some of us who are sitting here languishing indoors, I guess it just didn't really hit us, Bill. So you with the fresh air, you can be sanctimonious about these things. But on the subject,
I don't know how Michigan's own Bill Pulte gets appointed
Director of National Intelligence, taking over for Tulsi Gabbard. At least Gabbard had some level of intel experience, but Pulte's intel is whether or not to go ahead and put more insulation or not on the pipes.
And can I just say, as somebody, I'm continuing my year-long effort to get out of my NPR bubble, and I was listening to WJR, and they're like, well, he's a home builder. What does a home builder have to do with national intelligence? It's like, he's not even a home builder. His grandfather was the one who founded that company. I'm sure his father worked in it too, but he's a Nepo baby. He's a Nepo grandbaby. He's just a rich kid. He made a name for himself on Twitter. Years ago, he would post that he was giving away money. And apparently the board of Pulte Homes was a little pissed about this because they said suddenly their phone is ringing off the hook from people saying, I want some money too. How do I get it? And so, and they're like, stop doing that. And they kicked him off the board. And then he just kind of floated around in Trust Fundville for a while until he found his way down to Florida and joined Mar-a-Lago. And that's, I mean, he isn't even that. So, I mean, everything you're saying is true, but it's amplified by the fact that he has no legitimate or experience really doing much of anything other than being a rich kid. So
Nancy, thank you for calling it Trust Fundville and not Trust Fundistan, because that would hit a bit too close to home. So, well,
I agree with everything Nancy just said, but I think Trump last night during an interview revealed why he really appointed Pulte. That is, Trump's words, I think he's going to find out something about the stolen election.
right.
Clearly, he was brought in to wreak havoc on the midterm elections.
Yeah.
That's what he's there for. And I don't know, here's the problem. It's not like this nomination's coming before Congress. He's an interim.
He's acting. Yeah.
I don't know how you prevent him. And think about how dangerous it is. I mean, these are the most coveted and important secrets, national security secrets this country has.
Right.
A person who has no experience in dealing with it is going to have access to it all. I can't imagine anything more dangerous. You can hope that some of the professionals will try to keep it away from him.
But Bill, how much experience do you really need to have other than the fact that you can word search the word Trump and then possibly scrub the records of any kind of misfeasance and malfeasance that anybody with the name Trump or Drumpf might have said?
That's not what I'm worried about. I'm worried about him creating evidence to justify going into the polling places in this country and sending ICE and troops into the polling places. That's the kind of stuff that I'm worried about.
Right. And I think it should also be noted that during his time running the housing agency, he didn't exactly cover himself with glory there. Ostensibly, a department that he should have a nodding familiarity with it as the grandson of a home builder, and probably son too. But his major accomplishment was going into private mortgage records and digging up dirt on, the president's enemies, people like Tish James, who had to, defend herself for having two houses that, both were were declared as primary residences, which was apparently something that his own father, Pulte's own father, and his stepmother were doing as well, with their Florida condo and their, Bloomfield Hills house. So I don't,
and some other cabinet members as well.
Yeah.
And
by the way, he's still going to be heading up those two agencies. It's not that he's leaving it right now.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing. As long as he is acting, he can stay in that office for something like 210 days.
Right. Yep.
It's about 210 days until the midterms, and maybe that's all the longer he needs to stay.
Yep. Joel.
Yeah, it seems that incompetence is kind of the qualification for any of these jobs. If you're incompetent, you're good because you're going to nod your head, you're going to say yes, you're going to run as many fool's errands as you're put to.
Right.
And that's what we're saying. A 24-year-old kid doesn't know, his ass from a hole in the ground. Quite frankly, he's in a position to do anything. Most of the people that we've had, Christine No was an incompetent. These aren't just incompetence. Perhaps other than the guys who, with the money, these guys are completely incompetent. They don't have the will to respond or the knowledge to do anything but agree. And I agree, it's going to mess up the midterms. That they'll do whatever they're told. It's a frightening prospect. Trump knows that he's doomed in the midterms. Otherwise, he's already claiming that the elections are rigged, which means that he's going to rig the elections. It's just, we can see what's coming.
I would take issue with that. I don't think incompetence is the primary job requirement. It is the willingness to lavishly kiss the ass of the president. And the people who are willing to do that tend to be incompetent. So it's like a secondary effect. But yeah, it's he doesn't say, do you know nothing about this? Well, then you've got the job. I mean, he tried, I think during the first term, he asked his pilot, the guy who flies his stupid plane around, to be the head of the FAA.
Insane.
What? So
I think it's a combination of incompetence and willing to suck up.
Yeah, I mean, but the people who are willing to kiss his ass are not generally competent at their work, or they'd be doing it. So there you go.
I think Marco, of all the cabinet members, like maybe Marco Rubio may be one of the more competent ones, but he's sucking up to him. He's one of the rare that he's actually competent and just totally sucking up.
Well, and he's got his own end game. He wants to be president someday, and he's willing to eat bowl after bowl of shit in pursuit of that goal. So,
you know,
and also destroy Cuba as well.
And destroy Cuba. That's the other thing.
But you've got to wonder what his thinking is. I mean, would you really want to be a Republican running in the next presidential election?
Not me.
Well, I mean, Bill, you have, of course, gubernatorial candidate John James, who seems to be perfectly fine with Pulte's new position. So he's doing whatever he can to suck up to a potential.
Haven't you heard Perry's position? I mean, John James, he's a liberal.
He's apparently a loser too, according to the ads that I've seen, Bill.
Two-time loser, Republican liberal.
A noun, a verb, and a helicopter. That's my line.
Oh, I remember the days when adjectives counted for something, Nancy. Well, but here we've got then, this kind of chaos that's going around. The lead prosecutor in the James Comey criminal case, Matthew Petracca, is stepping down, being replaced by Timothy Severo. Is it something he might have seen, or does he recognize that prosecution here is futile on the 86-47 allegation?
It's interesting. You're seeing now everywhere. You're seeing protesters with signs, 86-47, and I think it only helps Comey. People say, who is going to see that sign and immediately say, I got to kill the president. It's the most ridiculous case. That's how Blanchard has tried to indicate there's a lot more there. Like what? Maybe James Comey said something negative about about the president. It's just the most insane case. That I don't know how Todd Blanche is possibly going to get confirmed for the Attorney General's job with that, with all the bullshit prosecutions, with all the the fun, the weaponization fun. I think he's going to have a really hard time.
Bill,
I know how he's going to get confirmed. The sycophants, who they call the Republican Congress, are going to vote for him. Even with these people who Trump has booted out of office in the primaries, last night they still went with him and voted for this ICE funding package that is just disgusting. Without the amendment killing the slush fund. That's, by the way, really good evidence that it's not truly dead. If it was truly dead, they would have allowed that amendment to pass. So I think that he's going to get it the same way every other incompetent, unethical jerk has gotten into the cabinet. The Republicans are going to take the knee.
Yeah, maybe it's just so amazing. They don't want to, even when they stand up for something like Susan Collins or Murkowski or whatever, they come back again and vote for something which tells you they don't want to be kicked out of the club. It was like Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney would stand up for all these great things, and then he would vote for something ridiculous because he wanted to still be a member of the club.
What do you mean by member of the club? Why would Cassidy and Cornyn, Tillis, what club are they trying to be a member of?
The Republican club.
They're both lame ducks, is what he's saying.
I agree, Steve. I can't figure it out either.
They've already been kicked out of Congress, okay? They're in their 70s. Cornyn is almost as old as me, for God's sake. What do they think they have they think if they go back to Texas, their friends and relatives won't speak to them? If that's the case, they got some shitty friends and shitty relatives.
Right.
And if they're worried about the general public, why would they be worried about it? Why would Tom Tillis, who said some of the things that he said, who's called Trump out and called out the Republican Party and the sycophants, why would he vote for this? I was absolutely baffled when I saw that this morning.
Yep, I agree.
Because they believe in it? Because they actually believed it? I mean, they believe that there are criminals coming in on the border and they're brown and they've got to be kicked out, and let's get all the journalists while we're at it. I mean, otherwise, why be a Republican?
But I think also when you stand up to Trump, you expose yourself to the possibility of death threats and all that. So they want to tell people, hey, don't start.
That's very true. I mean, it can just going against the guy can make your life miserable. So,
do you think maybe we should? Do you think maybe we should all, every time, Steve, you're at the locker room, I'm at the locker room, everyone, should we just make a commitment that our locker combo every time is 8647? Should this be our act of resistance?
I like that. Every pin number in America.
Well, speaking of which, I mean, I don't know who's guarding the hen house, because has anyone heard from Kash Patel in the last week? And related to that, has anybody called Hazelton or Betty Ford? Because we got to look out for our little guy. Yeah, we got to look out for our
Drew Pinsky right now. Get some really good treatment.
Well, I didn't call Hazelton or Betty Ford, but I'll tell you somebody who had a phone call this week, and that was our own orange president, Donald Trump, contacting and having a conversation with Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and it seems as though sparks might have been flying in that conversation. According to sources, it looked like the president yelled at Bibi and said that he was messing everything up, and allegedly was able to get Netanyahu to capitulate and to agree to not bomb Beirut as perhaps a precondition toward moving toward the ceasefire between the United States and Israel. How apocryphal do you think this is? Oh,
a ceasefire between the United States and Israel.
I'm sorry, Iran. I mean, yeah, I guess first you'd have to have the ceasefire between Bibi and Trump. Yes, thank you, Steve. How apocryphal do you think this is, and what do you think is going on between Israel and the United States?
I'll just say real quickly, Netanyahu is a bully. He's bullied every American president. When he came for AIPAC, back when Obama was president, he tried to humiliate him by not even acknowledging that he was in the U.S. He's done it with every president. He bullied Joe Biden. He tried bullying Obama, and that's why, Obama pushed back. But he's trying to bully Trump, and Trump is finally saying, you're fucking up everything here.
You got to wonder.
Sorry, go ahead, Nance.
No, you. I want to hear from. I was just going to say, you're fucking everything up. It's like it started fucked up. So he's only fucking it more. But Steve, you were going to say something. I always listen to what you have to say about Israel.
I think
that is stereotyping, and we will not have that on this show.
He has a sister who lives there.
Okay, fine.
You're right, and Jews are lousy basketball players too. That's another.
Great Dolph Shays.
Yeah. I think that what people are kind of missing. I don't know about bullying or not bullying. Trump listened to him and was dumb enough to believe that Bibi would do whatever he told him to do. Without threatening to take the weapons away. I mean, he's telling him, all right, we want a ceasefire with Hezbollah. There's only one problem. Hezbollah doesn't want a ceasefire. It's the same thing with Iran and the United States. These are the things that they should have thought about ahead of time. I read these things that said that Bibi actually believed that Iran would capitulate really briefly, then they just roll into Lebanon and roll over Hezbollah. I mean, if that's what they really believe, you wonder what history books they've ever read, and you wonder what newspapers they were ever reading. And the thing that's so sick about it is the Israelis have tons of agents inside of Iran. They've got all kinds of people there. They got people who obviously look at some of the things that they were able to do. So to me, Trump wants everything to be quick. Boom, they has no attention span, number one. He thought it was going to be Maduro and then Venezuela. And then when it wasn't, he starts flailing around, looking around for who to blame. And now he's stuck with the notion that he let Bibi lead him by the nose into this thing, as Rubio said, which he regrets every minute of his life now. But he was right, that Trump was led into it by Netanyahu. And now that it's going poorly for him in the PR and in the polls and this and that and the other, he's turning it around and I'm not doing this anymore, which is classic Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Netanyahu was patient, but now, I mean, he's got a sense of urgency because whether it's his prostate or the threat of prosecution, he wants this thing to be resolved ASAP.
Before you go, Alan, just one other thing. Every time we talk about this, everybody needs to keep in mind, all of us and everybody listening, the Hamas attack happened October the 7th of 2023. It's almost 3 years, and they have not had anything in Israel to discuss how did it happen, what allowed it, wasn't it in fact Bibi's administration that was so obsessed with taking over the West Bank that they let the Qataris spend billions of dollars on it? That tells you all you need to know about what's going on in Israel, about what kind of guy Bibi is.
Yeah.
I mean, en contraire, though, Steve, to be fair, Haaretz, with an apostrophe, has been doing some really excellent coverage on that. So.
They do. Coverage is one thing, but coverage is one thing. But you need to have a national. I mean, if it was here, like Watergate, you have to have things in the Congress and people have hearings and all these kinds of things. Coverage is.
It hasn't done a thing. You're right. Steve's
everything changed when John Tower died, but okay.
You met Haaretz ran an excerpt of a book by a guy who went blow by blow, but still, I'm not sure his book is going to be as global or as Steve is mentioning. But we do have a video.
President Trump confirmed that he called Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, quote, crazy, before adding, now, if you'll excuse me, I have to finish building a UFC arena on the White House lawn.
Anyone going?
Those gold statues aren't going to paint themselves either.
Was that Barb?
Leaving it up.
Come on. He's I know he said it, but let's not take every single thing this demented old man says as gospel. I think it's going to come down.
I don't know
what's
if there'll be
the
anybody.
Talshi bet on it? I don't know.
I don't know if anybody will show up because apparently the Great American State Fair is now a disaster since even the other half, the surviving half of Milli Vanilli, it looks like, has even dropped out.
The funniest thing I heard this week about that is its new name is Notapalooza.
Oh,
That's very good.
but now it seems that even some of the UFC fighters that were slated for that big monstrosity on the South Lawn have decided that maybe there's someplace else we need to be than that. But fear not, if you were worried that there wasn't going to be enough entertainment to bring in the 250th anniversary of the nation's founding. It looks like there's going to be a mega fireworks display that the likes of which the world has never seen since, I don't know, Krakatoa. And then also it looks like the president himself is going to be the one-man band by providing everyone with a big rally of his own oration.
Come on, blood clot. That's all I have to say. I mean, wouldn't it just be the most perfect ending to this presidency ever if he, in the middle of this, it'll probably be hot and miserable, and in the middle of this 90-minute pointless oration, just as he's doing the double jerk off dance that he does, to have the blood clot finally do its job, and boom, that would be like, wow.
Does anybody remember on the David Letterman show when he was, I think, still on NBC, when Chris Elliott would show up as Marlon Brando, and his makeup would be like melting off? He's heavy set, and he said it was just like one of the greatest acts ever. So, but I still am holding out hope for Up With People. I think that they need to come out of their dormancy and to perform for us again.
There was a pretty good New York Times piece today, kind of an analysis about how Trump is like, this is like the disappointment of his life, that he can't order showbiz around the way he can order Republicans around. And it's really chapping his ass. He just, he's always wanted to be, friends with all these people, and they can't stand him. And they're very clear about why they can't stand him, but he doesn't change. He just keeps going down. I mean, the first list of people who were booked for this thing, talk about a D list. I mean, you Milli Vanilli, Vanilla Ice. I mean, who were some of the others? Brett Michaels.
CNC Music Factory was on there.
Yeah, I mean, it was
good. It was great getting on that guy too. That's great.
They couldn't even get Gloria Gaynor and Kiss out of retirement. This is the price for that Kennedy Center Honor Medal that you've got now. Is you've got to get out and play.
But actually, Nancy, it actually confirms the long-held axiom when it comes to Hollywood and entertainment: never try to act with children or animals. Yeah. And the president is doing that when it comes to his Republican brethren. Alan.
When I was at the Washington Post in 2001, I was posted at 12th in Pennsylvania on Inauguration Day with Bush in 2001, January 2001, and they had their celebrity float. It had like Ricky Schroeder, Drew Carey, and Kelsey Grammer. I mean, it was so sad. It was just
that's not even a float. That's a rickshaw.
That's like the Cadillac in the 4th of July parade with the convertible, and they have the beauty queen on the back, like waving, so sitting up on the back. So,
like an animal.
Well, that would Nancy, that would be the Ricker, because he would be the beauty queen. Hey, Alan, let's go to a commercial, why don't we?
Hi, I'm Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer. If you're living in a home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, the probate process can be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
'12th and Pennsylvania Avenue, Alan. That's a pretty nice location, and I'm guessing that's northwest, not southeast.
Right.
But
right down to the Capitol.
That's right by the Federal Triangle. Yeah. So there you go. And
we had reporters on every single corner on both sides of the.
Of course, that's back when when staffing was robust, and you could do that. You could flood the zone, so to speak.
Oh, the good old days. Yeah. Well, on the other side of the White House, of course, right on the Potomac is the Kennedy Center. And I do emphasize Kennedy Center because a judge has ordered the removal of the name Donald J. Trump to the Donald J. Trump and John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts. Unfortunately, the Secretary of Interior, Borgum, has said, well, not so fast in taking the name off. It looks like they're going to drag this puppy out ad infinitum when it comes to appeals and the such. I mean, really, does this name belong on there? He's like lifting his leg and sort of marking his territory on just about every building except the Ford Theater in DC. And I hope it doesn't become Trump and Ben's Chili, right, Alan? Because that would be a shonda.
There's a change.org petition going around from Chicago to change the name of Wabash Avenue to Barack Hussein Obama Street or Avenue. And one of the reasons that they want to do that is because on the other end from the Obama Center on Wabash is Trump Tower. So the address for the Trump Tower would be, number 1 Barack Hussein Obama Avenue. So these are things that will like fry his brain up a little bit more. I'm hoping it will push the clot just that much. I mean, it doesn't really mean anything in all of this, but it would be, at least it would be funny.
On the bridge on Michigan Avenue, there right by the Chicago River, there is a wonderful vantage point with the Trump Tower behind, where people stop not to kiss or do anything, but simply to flip it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's second only to the bean.
Well, I was going to say it's second only to people flipping off Trump Tower on Fifth Avenue. So you got that.
My view is that the more he puts his name on things, the more he realizes he's going to die soon. To me, it's a reflection of his mortality, and he's going to live on with this. And so I think it portends for good news ahead in many, many ways, because this is just maniacal. I mean, it really is.
Did you hear John Ossoff's portion of his speech he gave this week where he said that exact thing? He said he's racing to memorialize himself because he knows that when he's gone, nobody is going to want to even admit to having known him. So
correct.
You know.
And so I think this is kind of a reflection of his acknowledgement that things are not going well. I mean, he's had 3 MRIs or 3 annual visits in a month or 6 weeks. I mean, he looks like shit. His eye is puffy, everything, mahula. I mean, it's not good. Mahula, it's not even, that's Yiddish, maybe just me. But it's, it doesn't look good and that's why people put his name.
Or maybe it does look good, Joel.
Depends on what you consider good.
But that's my view of why he's doing all these things.
Nancy, as the linguistic historian of the show, I believe that's not a word of Yiddish that we've heard yet on the show.
Yiddish is not my department. I did cringe a little when you mispronounced apocryphal a few minutes back, but I leave Yiddish to
Au
Steve.
contraire, Nancy, the British pronunciation of apocryphal is apocryphal. So.
What was that word though, Steve? What was that Yiddish word? Mahala?
Mahula.
Mahula. Okay. All right.
Steve, you want to weigh in on this one?
I've never heard that word in my life.
Listen. My dad mumbled a lot. Maybe he said something else. But I heard Mahula.
I would say Joel made it up. Seriously.
I probably did.
I grew up, my parents spoke Yiddish.
Have you ever heard the word before?
I never heard it.
It means bankrupt, broke, ruined.
It should be like the new Yiddish
That's
dictionary.
the Yiddish term.
We have new words in America.
Just keep repeating it. You don't become a Yiddish word in time.
Mahula is bankrupt, broke, ruined. I mean, not to be confused with makluba, which is a delicious Arabic dish.
Wow.
Well, there is a bloodbath. Talk about mahula at CBS. I mean, an utter bankruptcy about what's going on. And we have Barry Weiss and the Ellison son and dad duo to thank for this. Probably one of the last vestiges of true journalists at CBS and at 60 Minutes. I think the only one left right now is Leslie Stahl, but who knows when she's up. But Scott Pelley, winner of somewhere around 30 Emmy Awards and Peabody Awards and other such accolades, was fired, contrary to Barry Weiss saying that he left from 60 Minutes because of his certainly very strident criticism of new management. So we have a video on it. Yeah. Go ahead.
And out of this, late yesterday, we learned that Scott Pelley, a 60 Minutes correspondent and former anchor of this very broadcast, had been fired. Here's CBS News senior national correspondent Jim Axelrod.
Tonight, we have the story of the...
Less than 24 hours after CBS News correspondent Scott Pelley was fired from his job on 60 Minutes, CBS News editor-in-chief Barry Weiss addressed the decision during a staff meeting this morning. Despite our attempts to engage with Scott Pelley and to find a way back, unfortunately, we weren't able to do so, and so we had to part ways. Minutes later, Pelley issued a response that his discussion with CBS News executives was hostile from the start, and that no CBS executive at any time suggested a way back. To say so now is disingenuous, and they know it.
Good for him.
I'd say Scott Pelley was as close to Walter Cronkite as you could get. I mean, the respect that I met him once at an FBI Christmas party in D.C. He was nothing but a gentleman, a very super nice guy, and he just had the stature. I mean, the 60 Minute people they're the cream of the crop.
Mm-hmm. Alan, please tell me that the bartender was a very, very young Kash Patel back then.
I just want to say one thing for people who maybe think, well, this was somehow justified because he was disrespectful to his boss in a staff meeting. Newsroom staff meetings are like that a lot. I have been, and I never even worked for a union paper. You want to see where it really gets nasty is in a paper where the reporters have union protection. And then you will have, I mean, I've heard stories that would curl your hair if you're the kind of boss that likes to have your butt kissed. But even in my experience, that those are just it's really common for staff to push back openly and rudely and loudly against their bosses. And I had a very wise editor once who said that everyone knows this. If you run a newsroom and you expect your reporters to go out and ask tough questions of elected officials and, prominent businessmen and everything else, you cannot object when they ask you the same kind of questions. And that's what Scott Pelley did. And that's all I really have to say about it.
I'll say there's a lot. I worked at, the Detroit News, which was a union paper, and the Washington Post. There were certainly arguments. I think it's at a little higher level in TV. I think you have even more prima donnas. There were some prima donnas certainly at the Washington Post, but who could get away with that stuff. But normally, look, Scott Pelley had to say something. It was screwing all his colleagues. They were compromising the integrity of the product. How could he not? I mean, he was getting paid either somewhere between probably $5 and $7 million. But you know what? He'll be fine.
He's 67.
He's 67 and he's got fuck you money. He will be fine. And somebody else will snatch him up. I mean,
but that's, I don't want to miss the point. This is all happening because they're sucking up to Trump so that they can buy CNN. He made the comment when he was being so incredibly, amazingly rude to CNN and a woman who
Caitlin Collins,
reporter, who, quote, is such a good-looking woman, but she never smiles. I mean, who makes those kind of comments? And then he said,
guys like Donald Trump.
That's true. And then he said, but CNN will be under new ownership. Maybe it'll change.
Yeah, maybe it'll change.
This is
I hope when Trump dies.
Paving. It's all about giving in to Trump.
Yep.
I hope when Trump dies, she gets to report the story with the biggest grin that she cannot wipe.
So Nancy, when Trump dies, my question for you, because I imagine you're going to be in D.C., is what's going to be the brand of the fifth that's going to be in your left hand, and what's the brand of the sandblaster that's going to be in your right hand when you go to work on all those monuments and take his name off it?
Oh no, I'll leave that to younger people. But I will be drinking champagne. Champagne is the traditional drink of celebration, and that's what I'll be drinking. So
to all you modern culture reference people, is he ever going to die, or is he like Voldemort and has he divided his soul and hidden it away? I don't know.
I think he's more like our leader's nose in the movie Sleeper. If you ever saw Woody Allen's Sleeper, and everything died except for our leader's nose, and they were gonna clone it, so he would always be. Right. I think that Trump is our leader's nose.
So I'm marking down.
I think he might be dead. I don't know. He might be dead by the end of the year. I mean, it's entirely possible. I read a
doing so well on your bingo card. Could you put it there, please?
Trump has undeniable medical emergency. That's on my bingo card.
The guy's falling asleep during the day in a meeting. I mean,
He's
there's
falling
things
asleep.
working in there. Things are shut down.
Marco Rubio. Marco says that's not true, and he was there.
I want to commend all of you on the show for never falling asleep on this show. Number one, and number two, Bill, I'm marking the time and the day that you single-handedly have been trying to court a younger audience to the show by making reference to Voldemort. So, Alan.
Seth Meyers in his monologue was talking about Marco Rubio denying that Trump is sleeping. And he says, I can tell you right now, that guy never sleeps. He calls me at 2 a.m., 5 a.m. And Seth Meyers says, that's exactly why he's sleeping during the day.
It's very true.
Rubio also said that the Florsheim's fit him perfectly.
Yeah, no, he's
in the
one.
same.
All of these
Why-
people, they've got their balls in escrow. They're just.
Why would he have to call him when he just has to turn over and say, "Honey, I've got something for you to do." Allan, you've been covering this story. Speaking of former employees of the country and of Trump, former ambassador to the Ukraine, Bridget Brink, is now putting her hat into the proverbial ring to run in Michigan 7 for Congress.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I would think she has a pretty good shot. I mean, she was the ambassador. She was the ambassador first under Joe Biden. Then she was the ambassador under Trump. And in 2025, she just said, I can't take it anymore. When they finally, she said the final breaking point was when they wanted her to stop referring to Russia as the aggressor in the war. She said, that's it. So she moved to Lansing. Her grandfather, I believe, was a auto worker in Lansing, and she is running in the seat that was originally or previously held by Alyssa Slotkin, and now is held by was it Tom Barrett? And we'll see. I mean, she certainly got the integrity. Hopefully, that means something these days.
Well, that would be a nice boost for Congress because we have Republican congressman from Tennessee, Andy Ogles, who decided to, here's the other reference for you, Bill, which actually isn't just Gen Z, it's far older than that, shifted the Eye of Sauron away from just Islamophobic comments to go ahead and on the start of Pride Month, June 1st, to go against the LGBTQ community by Barb. What was this? What was it that it said that America is a family-friendly nation or nuclear family nation?
Nuclear family nation.
Yeah.
That's right.
With the kind of pushback that Ogles has been getting, and you can see that he's really a man of principle, he blamed it on a member of the comms team who put that up there on social media, who has been duly disciplined about it. But as far as the line between saying the quiet part out loud or not, that seems to have been completely eviscerated. Barb.
I would say that a really great definition of a nuclear family would be Pete Buttigieg's family, who seems to have a loving, stable relationship with Chastain. They've got children. He just strikes me as exactly who you want as your next door neighbor, or as, you know, dare I say it, something much more important.
I saw Buttigieg as a keynote speaker at the American Arab Chamber of Commerce in Dearborn 3 years ago. And he gets up there, and as I think most people know, he did a couple of tours in the Middle East, but he's also fluent in Arabic. And he just dropped, with not even appearing contrived or anything, he started reciting a poem in Arabic in just perfect diction and delivery. And there's almost nothing that'll shut up an audience at a banquet, and certainly not at an Arab American Chamber of Commerce banquet, but everybody shut up when he was reciting it. And you could tell people were completely impressed by it. But he is an impressive individual, and I guess 2028 might be his now that Big Gretch has said, I ain't running. So
Good.
He was at the Mackinac conference. A friend of mine was on the ferry with him, and they both took like a face full of water at some point, and then she ran into him again, and I'm like, you are barking up the wrong tree. I mean, she's like, he's so cute. I said he is. He's very cute. He's really smart, and he speaks Arabic and all that. But yeah. So.
You know, my major in undergrad was medieval literature, and I got to say, there's something to be said about courtly love. Yeah, there's something to be said about courtly love, like Sir Lancelot until he shagged Guinevere, and everything fell apart. And we Brits are still paying the price for that. So anyway. But the idea of scandal is sort of occurring now really everywhere on the lead up to the midterms. I mean, one of the biggest ones is regarding Democratic Senate candidate from Maine, Graham Plattner, where it seems as though there is quite a bit of oxygen to the allegations of him committing sexual impropriety shortly after he got married, with sexting, and perhaps even something more severe than that, with actual physical abuse. Steve.
Well, that's my question. What does everybody think about that? And what does everybody think about how that's going to affect the election that we really need to win, right? With Susan Collins at age, I can't remember what. But what do you guys think about that?
I think he's going to win.
I think he's going to win, but I find it very unfortunate. I mean, I feel like he could be another Fetterman.
In your Susan Collins voice, please.
Oh, that young man strikes me as a risk to the party because he could end up being another John Fetterman. So yeah,
she's 73.
Oh, well, this is a primary though. I mean, keep in mind this is a primary. He's probably going to win the primary. I don't know about the rest of it. One of the side effects of being completely snowed under by the news on the national level is I've granted myself permission to kind of step away from things that I have absolutely no power over whatsoever, which is the Senate race in Maine because I don't live there. But I think he's probably going to win. I don't know. We'll see. His primary opponent is Janet Mills, and she's 78. So.
But what does it say? What does it say about the Democratic establishment? I mean, it seems as though they had a pre-existing issue with him. I mean, is this sort of given them the out to throw him under the bus, Barb?
Yes, I have family in Maine, so I hear about this a fair amount. I think that the Dems, he didn't get in line right off the bat, and they're against him. They would rather have a very old, established person that will be obedient to their requirements. I think that it's really unfortunate what's coming out on that, but I think that he is going to win, and I think he's going to win the bigger race. I think this is a guy that's also come out and owned a lot of this stuff as it happened, and his wife stands behind him. And he moved to Maine. He did what he did because that war is so fucking horrible. And what people went through in that war, what young men went through in that war is something that, as a nation, we're ignoring them like we did the Vietnam vets. Mm-hmm. And I think, and I'm not excusing any of that, but I think that there's some really bad behavior that comes out on that. I think he's trying to own it. I think he's cleaned his life up. I don't know. I love oysters, so he's got my vote for that. But I think he's going to win. But I do think that Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, I'd rather see them back down and resign than Brian Plattner.
Yeah. Bill.
He did address the complaints.
No question that he is not the choice of the establishment. But one, the establishment doesn't get to make the decision, the voters do. And I think time after time after time in this country, we're seeing that people aren't going along with what the establishment wants. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Haley Stevens in the Michigan primary. But as to this issue, one, I've read everything I could find in terms of actual text and things. The guy was despicable. There's no question. But all of this was fairly well established when he started the campaign. He started the campaign with, I had PTSD. I was a horrible person. I came back and did horrible things. I have cleaned my life up, and I'm trying to do better. And so my belief is Maine voters are going to forgive this. I mean, for God's sakes, Trump did all this stuff. He never apologized for his grabbing by the pussy remark. He never apologized for any of these terrible, terrible sexist things he did to and has said about women. And voters ignored it. I think voters are likely to ignore this. It is sad to me that that's the day and age in which we live in, but it is the truth.
I think one thing, the Democrats have higher standards when it comes to that, are more self-critical than the Republicans. The Republicans are just like Ken Paxton, so what? He's had affairs where we don't care. Trump, we don't care. but the Democrats are always.
Ooh, we care about that. Yeah.
Wait. Are you talking about the voters or the party?
The vote. Well, both. Really both.
I think the party wants to run everything, and they don't want anybody that isn't in their little club, just like the Republicans. They want their people. They want them. They don't mind if they're old. They don't care if they. Dianne Feinstein was allowed to serve until she died. I will never forgive them for cutting off Bernie Sanders at the. I mean, Hillary Clinton would have been a better president than Donald Trump. This empty cup would have been a better president than Donald Trump.
At least an Otter and Animal House was a little bit more lovable than the Republicans, who basically are saying the same thing, that the issue here is not that we broke a few rules or took a few liberties with our female party guests. We did. But that's basically where we've come down to. How's that, Bill? Was that too antiquated or too recent of a pop culture reference?
It's fine for me. It's
fine for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Just checking with.
It's not going to bring the Gen Z folks in.
Just checking about the frat humor fatwa from you there, Steve.
That stuff is all fine because I never know what you guys are talking about. So it sounds like
QED.
It sounds like, does everybody here think I don't care about the primary. I don't care about the 78-year-old governor. You guys, it sounds like you think he's going to win the election. And Barb, you've got a relative or somebody, so everybody thinks he'll win, despite of whatever it is that keeps this leaking out. I mean, I tend to agree with you, but I just was interested in what everybody else thought.
I think he's going to win the primary. I think it's going to
primary. I don't care about that.
I think that a lot of this is the national news, and I would imagine, Barb, that Maine is probably fiercely independent like New Hampshire, and they're like, you guys can talk about it, but this is a local race.
Yeah.
And so keep your mitts off it. And so that might happen. Well, closer to home, Allan, I think you were covering something about that. A judge has ordered the seizure of restitution monies from an account belonging to former Detroit Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick's wife. Right. Are we going to see now the beautification of the riverfront now that the city's going to get all this money back?
Right, yeah, we're talking about, what was it, $13,000?
It's like 18 grand. This is the most.
Yeah, I mean, it was in his wife's business account at Comerica Bank. Kwame says he had nothing to do with it. The government doesn't believe that. They made a move for it, and he filed something opposing it, but he didn't do all the right things. He was supposed to ask for a hearing, which he didn't. Then his wife was supposed to challenge it, and she didn't, and so they lost. I mean, it's not a lot of money.
Was it just a coincidence that the checks that she had made out on the account has his face on it?
Yeah,
Steve.
So number one, I think the statute of limitations should apply, and we shouldn't discuss anything about Kwame Kilpatrick ever again in the history of the world. Aside from that, the case is now assigned to Judge Murphy, who's the chief judge of our court, and he's a no-nonsense guy. And if you saw what he did, and you saw what his opinion was, you can see Kwame's wasting his breath and wasting his pencils if he keeps filing stuff in front of him. But I suggest we never discuss anything having to do with him again. I'll be interested as to what our listeners think. Maybe they don't want a statute of limitations on, but I'm sick and tired of hearing about him personally.
It's $13,167.
All right, Steve. I think I got one listener who says that they draw the line that they still want to talk about Fiorello LaGuardia. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go with them. All right, Allan. Let's go to the last segment then.
Downtown Detroit, Robert Wells, Schmuck of the Week.
Okay, Steve, you got the floor for the schmuck.
I don't really need the floor. We discussed all the reasons that I say that it's him. But I go back to the thing you guys have heard me say 8 million times. Of all of the shitty things about this guy, and there's tons of it, and Nancy summarized it very well from the same article I think that I read about all the other crazy stuff. What annoys me the most about him is the same thing that annoys me the most about Trump. I hate born rich babies. Never had to make a penny.
You're talking about Pulte here.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
His grandfather obviously was of Pulte Homes. Everybody that lives here knows about Pulte Homes. But these guys, these are these trust fund babies, and I'm not the least bit surprised when they turn out the way they turn out. They go to their little private schools. They don't have to go to Mumford or Southwestern. Then they go and they walk around and they think their shit doesn't stink, and they've never done a goddamn thing. So it's, in addition to everything else, what really attracted my attention to him as Schmuck of the Week is he's another one of these kind of babies.
Yeah, he really is.
Listen, Steve, you graduate from Lapeer West, they'll teach you how to process a deer in the field.
The jump shot isn't so good, but they
you might have the mean streets, but we got the mean fields. Actually, Steve, I think it was my junior year, Lapeer West had to play Flint Central.
Yeah,
and this is when Eric Turner was for Flint Central. Enough said. Yeah. Most people left in the first quarter because the game was already over. All right, Barb.
I have two as usual. And I'm an equal opportunity schmuckster today. Mike Rogers' staff for releasing that video and photo of him where he has giant muscles. And he like
an AI enhanced picture of him.
It's an AI, but there's also a little,
and biceps.
Yes, and there's also a little video where he's solving crimes.
Oh, okay.
That was really embarrassing for him, but probably not, because I think Republicans are beyond embarrassment. But my other one, and I'm really, man, Gretchen Whitmer, standing in line with all of those tech bros, putting in a data center that everybody in that community fought against. Everything that they did, they're doing it anyway. And I think that might be why she's not running for president, is because she is going to start cleaning up on this kind of thing. And I was impressed with Gretchen Whitmer during the COVID. Mm-hmm. I supported El Sayed for governor for a long time. I felt better about it, but now I'm telling you, that woman, I'm so angry. So my schmuck is Gretchen Whitmer.
Fair enough.
Okay, that works, because Sam Altman and all these others were standing there. I mean, it was like a rogues gallery of the
She just, yeah.
But notice that there is a connection between those two stories, because, of course, AI, and that was an AI image of Mike Rogers. And let me give the disclaimer: nobody on this show is AI enhanced. Everybody's pecs, at least mine, are natural.
Can we at least give Allan credit for a very funny reaction to that, which is that he took a wrong turn and ended up in the gay pride parade? Macho man.
That's beautiful.
Oh.
All right, Joel.
I'm going to go with the Minnesota GOP, who had a prayer for Derek Chauvin, the police officer who murdered George Floyd. It's despicable. It's unbelievable to me. Again, everything's backwards. It's a bizarre world, but they would be my schmucks of the week.
Okay, let's see here. It says Abdullah Sayed versus Mike Rogers, 1-on-1 CrossFit gym in Northville. Lift wall balls, box jumps, make it happen. All right, smash the numbers. Is that directed to any one of us? I claim exemption because on religious grounds, but I mean, if anybody else wants to set that up, in fact, why not? Why have it in Northville, bro? Why not have it at the UFC shrine on the south lawn of the White House?
There you go.
It could be the undercard. There you go. Bill.
Actually, could be the main event. I've got a couple. Steve stole my first one, but I still have two more. One is Barry Weiss, who talk about somebody who has done everything she can to make sure that one of the real icons of investigative journalism is destroyed. She's disgusting and certainly deserves to be our schmuck of the week. But there's also the Republican cowards in the Senate who could not vote to make sure that the 1.776 slush fund was was not ever going to happen. They could not put that amendment on the bill. It would have passed, and it's the best evidence that Trump still intends to use that slush fund. Those are my strong.
All
I
right.
think that's good.
Good ones. Nancy.
Well, I had on my list Gretchen Whitmer and Bill Pulte too. So I have to, and I don't have anything to add to this. So instead, I'm going to go deep with a story that was in the Grosse Pointe Times this week that I'm sure you guys will enjoy, about an incident on May 12th that was reported by a resident of the Farms. It said a cat owned by one of his neighbors jumped onto his windowsill, tore open the screen, and started fighting with the resident's cat, which had been inside the house. The resident told police that both cats ended up fighting on the front lawn, but ran off when he tried to intervene. He said he took his cat to the vet and it needed a tetanus shot. So it's like, for bringing Pat Mumford to Grosse Pointe Farms, I'm going to say that cat there, the bad cat that broke into the house to fight with the other cat.
So I'm a believer in Well, I'm a believer in causation, and I think that story is related to the other story about why the Senate passed the ICE funding bill. Because that cat probably came from the wrong Grosse Pointe and had to be deported. Yes.
That cat was
Alan.
from west of Mac. Go ahead.
Alan.
I'm going to go with Pam Bondi, who testified before Congress and basically dumped everything on Todd Blanche. And it probably is real that she was just the front for Todd Blanche. And she was just probably could go down as the worst attorney general, and Todd Blanche may be the most evil attorney general.
I think it was a tandem team, Alan, because Bondi was heavily involved in Florida, and she may have been there protecting Epstein and his shenanigans. Remember, I mean, Acosta was there in the early stages of that really ridiculous plea deal that Epstein got. So there's a possibility of that working together. Okay, Nancy, because chivalry is not dead, and kind of hearkening back to my courtly love narratives that I studied in college, I've got an extra schmuck for you.
Okay.
And that would be Jared Kushner and his wife for trying to build a resort of something like a $2 billion resort in Albania. Well, the Albanians fought back. In fact, they went ahead and they firebombed the president's residence. And so, as anybody who lives in Macomb County will tell you, do not mess with the Albanians.
For sure.
They do.
If I see a last name with the letter J at the end, I run. Sorry, Mike Ratai.
That's right. I'm thinking about that guy. I wrote too.
So anyway, that one's for you, Nancy. That way I could also blame you for that one. Wash my hands clean. To the teenager who caused a United Airlines flight from Newark to Barcelona to be returned because he named his Fitbit BOMB, and it showed up on the airplane's Wi-Fi, and they had to turn the plane on. There were a lot of people who were upset. I think the appropriate punishment is to turn on the camera feature on the Fitbit and give him his first colonoscopy.
I didn't know Fitbits had a camera.
I'm putting one on.
Okay.
The other one is to my other beloved country, to which I have nationality, and that is the United Kingdom, for blocking social media posters and individuals and personalities, Cenk Uyghur and his nephew Hassan Piker, from entry to the country, including a presentation in front of the Oxford Union for comments that were critical against Israel, not even comments against the UK or against the former Prince Andrew, who, by the way, has a really nasty bruise on his face, which apparently has been attributed to a non-serious medical condition, whatever the hell that is, which probably means somebody punched him out. But for the hemisphere, which claims so much about the allowance of free speech and expression, to be barred for something that certainly was not considered an imminent lawless action or incitement to commit any kind of physical harm, that is conduct unbecoming the Union Jack and the Crown. So the UK you get my schmuck for that, along with that teenager, and for you, Nancy, the Kushners.
Thank you.
As well. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you to our viewers for taking such a passionate interest in it with your wonderful comments and perspectives. Thank you, Joel. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Barb. Thank you, Nancy. And thank you, and always with the last word, at least verbally, not non-verbally, with Barb.
Arrive home safely.
Have a great weekend.